Kerry Russell was in Cocaine Bear. J.J. Fields was in Captain America. Jennifer Coolidge was in Best in Show. Brett McKenzie was in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. James Callis was in Bridget Jones's Diary, also on our list. And Georgia King was in Cockneys vs. Zombies. That's a short and sweet list of movies that the actors of Austenland had made that you should watch instead. Welcome to You've Got Mails.
Hello, CJ. On today's episode, I was thinking about doing this British accent for the entire episode, just like some of the people in this awful movie we're about to talk about. How do you feel about that, mate?
$50 says you can't.
That's enough of that shit. Much like I said halfway through this movie, that's enough of this shit. Welcome to You've Got Mails, everybody. I'm Jason. I'm here with CJ. And on today's episode, we'll be talking about 2013's Austenland.
This is tough.
You know I don't like to get spoilery too far in advance. We'll save the reviews for the end. But this was a slog. Neither of us knew anything about this movie. We had no clue what this was when we rolled it.
Yeah, it was somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes and 4.5 hours. I can't tell.
I don't know how this made it on the list. Because there was a time when we first started and we were compiling this list. We would watch YouTube videos of like rom-coms you should see. And, you know, best rom-coms you haven't seen. So this made someone's list somewhere. And I don't really understand what happened.
The Devil's List.
And I want to tell everyone listening at home, I know when we reviewed Bottoms, we said you have to watch this before we do the review because we liked that movie so much that we didn't want to spoil anything for anybody. I urge you at home to go out of your way not to watch this movie.
When we get to our grand gestures, I'll give you a couple things to watch instead. I already have a plan here.
Let's get into this dumpster fire. So this movie stars Kerry Russell.
I fucking love Kerry Russell, too.
I don't know much about her. She was in Felicity.
What I've realized about Kerry Russell, much better bad guy. She was amazing in The Americans. She was in that Star Wars thing where she played kind of a bad guy in the Han Solo movie.
Oh, I forgot she was in that.
She is so good when she's evil. And when she's playing the romantic lead, she just fumbles it.
So, look, Kerry Russell... she plays a character by the name of Jane. And Jane is in her 30s, single. I would go so far as to say unhealthily obsessed with Jane Austen novels, especially Pride and Prejudice and the character of Mr. Darcy.
I would say unhealthy.
Yeah, so...
I mean, she's got a full-size cardboard cutout of Colin Firth as Mr. Darcy.
Which, I'm going to throw this out there. This is Colin Firth's, technically his third appearance on the podcast. It's in Love Actually, Shakespeare in Love, and he was in this movie in cutout form. I'd like to maybe replace James Marsden with Colin Firth as our new show mascot.
I'm down with that.
All right.
James is just a bit problematic now.
Currently, yes. After some things have come to light. Actually, if you'd like to Google and do the research yourself, I'm not going to sit here and drag James Marsden through the mud. He was an integral part of the early days of this podcast, but turns out he might not be the nicest guy. I don't know.
Yeah. So, Colin Firth.
Colin Firth. He's our guy now.
Long live the new king.
I love Colin Firth. But yeah, so we find out she's obsessed with Jane Austen novels. We get some really bad flashback scenes of her in like high school. But it's great because it's just her in like braces and pigtails. But it's still just Kerry Russell. And like the girl who plays her like friend throughout like the movie. Same age also. Just her like younged up.
The most ambiguous human I've ever seen.
Who, her friend?
She was 3 different races in 3 different scenes. One back to back to back.
You're right. She was different in every scene I saw her.
I did not understand that. I mean, like, look, everybody loves Rashida Jones. Everybody.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those things where you're looking at her and you go, who are you?
All right.
I love Quincy Jones, too.
Let's move on. So, you know, we get these little flashbacks, and we've come to find out, I mean, she's walking around with notebooks that say, I love Mr. Darcy. She's at a diner. She brings her own teacup to drink out of. She seems like a real chore to be around, if I'm being honest. Probably wouldn't want to be her friend.
Yeah.
And then we see her apartment and her home life, and she is not just... It's not just like knickknacks here and there. Like, she has a mural on her headboard that says Darcy was here. She's got dolls and embroidered pillows that say I love Mr. Darcy. She is out of control.
I felt bad that I had to Google who the fuck Mr. Darcy was.
You don't know? We're going to put that on the list because it's Colin Firth.
Well, yeah, I mean, Pride and
It might
Prejudice.
already be on there, but we're gonna put that one on there. I think it might be a mini series, but we'll watch it. Fuck it, be a special episode.
Let's do it.
You know, we find out that she is very unlucky in love, and searching for her Mr. Darcy.
Well, who's going to live up to the guy that she has in her head?
This is true. And, you know, we finally get a scene that kind of starts everything in motion where this ex comes up to her, and he's just a garbage person, like not a good guy, obviously.
Yeah, what trash heap did he fall out of?
He looked like he did fall off a trash heap. And he kind of gives her, you're still single in your 30s, like, I'm the best you can do. And this kind of spurs her to sign up to go on a vacation to a place called Austenland, which is basically, I think, Westworld for Regency era England without the robots and all the sex.
Oh, shit. My chick flick to a dick flick just got a lot better.
Right? I thought about using that one, but I didn't. But you can if you'd like. That's out there for free use. And her friend is like trying to talk her out of it because it's going to take all of her life savings to go on this vacation. And she won't be budged. She won't stop. So they make a weird bet that if she goes on this vacation and doesn't find her like happy ending, that she has to give up on this obsession over Jane Austen and, more importantly, Mr. Darcy. She has to de-Darcy her apartment.
I'm no expert, but I can name you a couple places in downtown Pittsburgh and around that'll give you a happy ending for a lot less.
So we get a scene of Jane. She's at the airport getting ready to go on this trip. And she meets my favorite part of this movie, Jennifer Coolidge.
The only reason to watch this movie.
And I wouldn't even, if you could just find like highlights of her scenes on YouTube, I would recommend maybe watching those. But even then, there's better Jennifer Coolidge things you can watch. You don't have to go out of your way for this.
She is a national fucking treasure.
Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about her, and she's kind of like reaching that stage of Betty White, Dolly Parton, like these women that are just like, seem so lovely to be around, and like, they haven't hurt a hair on anybody's head.
Yes.
Just like nice, funny.
And don't care what you think.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they're just living their life, but like not hurting anybody else, and just genuinely like you'd want to hang out with Jennifer Coolidge.
Absolutely.
So we meet Jennifer Coolidge. Her name is Elizabeth Charming. They give everybody names. I guess she got her name in advance. So like you get your own name when you get to the Austenland.
Yeah, you need
experience.
like a period specific.
Yeah. So
name.
her name is Miss Charming. She's actually a fun character. Apparently ad-libbed almost all of her lines in this.
It shows.
It shows because it's like she's acting in a different movie half the time, but it works.
Well, that's the thing. If you've ever seen like any Christopher Guest movie, Best in Show, things like that, she's a master. Like she is a comedy master.
Yeah, she's really good. And she's great in this. It's like I said, the one shining light in this movie. Meet her though, and she's basically just like a rich socialite, it seems like, who's kind of aloof, means well. I don't get the impression like cares about Jane Austen or
this is just something to do.
Something to
I
do.
guess.
And she's just like she's also just a horny old lady, and she's going to hook up with like period actors. You know, it's exactly what it seems like. But she's very sweet to Jane, and Jane and her kind of strike up a very nice.
This isn't far away from how she lives her actual life. If you've listened to any interviews with her lately, where she's talking about having a kill count after American Pie, like she's living the best her.
And good for her.
Yeah.
We support you, Jennifer Coolidge. So they're at the airport getting ready to go on the trip. A very old-timey car pulls up to pick them up, and out gets the chauffeur. Someone who I thought would be a bright spot in this movie, Brett from Flight of the Conchords, plays Martin, the chauffeur and kind of groundskeeper. I'm a huge Flight of the Conchords fan. Absolutely love it. And love Brett. And even he couldn't save this movie.
Boy, were you wrong.
Yeah. So we meet Brett, Martin, the chauffeur, and he immediately kind of is flirtatious with Jane. Gets her into the car, and they have a little bit of chemistry. And at this point in the movie, I'm like, oh, good. Like, I like Brett. I would like Brett to be the guy. I'm assuming Brett's the love interest. He drives him to the grounds where the mansion is and everything. And we meet Mrs. Wattlebrook, who is played by Jane Seymour.
Yes.
And she is kind of the head of this whole experience. This is her business, is to bring people in for these immersive Jane Austen experiences. And she kind of gives the ladies the rundown. We find out that there are different packages, price points to this trip. Jennifer Coolidge's character is a platinum member, so she's going to get like all the bells and whistles. Jane is the copper package. And Jane Seymour's character is very looks down on her.
Yeah,
it's not
really.
very nice to her.
I mean, for a paying customer, really kind of treats her shitty.
Yeah, she's very, like, for a while in this movie, I was like, why is she being so mean to her?
But put a pin in that.
Turns out she's just an awful woman.
No, I have theories on this.
Okay. But she also, I'm assuming, barring any of CJ's theories for right now, that she just looks down on her because she's cheap and, like, she's not the big money customer, so she's not as important to her.
Yes.
You know? But she does tell the women that everyone's guaranteed to find love. You know, they have a specific storyline set up for them, which ends with their happy ending, and they find their Prince Charming, shall we say.
Yes, but no touching.
No touching there. But we'll talk about that later, too.
If you were to do the guy version of this, it's basically a strip club, right? Like, no touching, you're going to lose a lot of money tonight.
But the ladies
and you're going to also think you're in love.
But the lady's going to be very nice to you.
Yeah.
She does flat out say there will be no physical contact. There's a lot of physical contact in this. This movie is actually problematic when you really get down to the nuts and bolts of it. Like, if this was a real thing. But they take him to the mansion, and this is where we kind of meet all of the other people. This movie is very, I don't want to say confusing, but when you meet all these other people, they do not really establish who's an actor and who's a paying guest right out front.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to tell who's who.
We should disclose on this one. Normally, we watch these movies separately.
We do.
This time we were both at a Memorial Day party, had a few drinks. It's like, hey, let's try watching this movie.
Yeah.
And this is about as far I think as we got before we both just were so bored that it was,
Well, I was falling asleep.
You were falling asleep. You were like, let's get the hell out of here.
Part of it was like the picnic that we were at that day. I was just tired, but part of it was also the movie. Had the movie been better, I may have been able to make it.
But I do remember asking you, like, who the fuck's in on this?
Who are these people?
Yeah, like who's in the cast of the Austenland and who is there paying as a customer?
Yes, but we meet a few characters, and the way this breaks down is the females in this resort are the only ones there that have paid to be there. All of the males are actors.
Yes.
But we meet Mr. Nobley, who's the Mr. Darcy of the bunch, but he's a very like brooding, quiet, doesn't really want to talk, doesn't seem interested in any of the women, doesn't want to be there.
And it's Jane Seymour's nephew.
It is.
He was kind of forced to be there.
Yes. And then we have Colonel Andrews, who's just kind of like this flamboyant army captain or naval captain. I'm not sure what his deal is. He's a very smooth talker. He's very flamboyant. And then we meet, there's also a female there who she is also a paid guest of the resort, and that is Amelia Hartright. And she just seems like she's kind of a ditzy blonde, but she's also, you can tell she's from money. She's very uppity.
Well, she says, I married a very rich, very old man.
Yes. So she's there as well. And we get a little scene, kind of like a meet and greet for everybody. There's a dinner scene. And everybody's kind of conversing, and Jennifer Coolidge's character tells Jane, well, why don't you try a little bit of this old-timey talk? I love Jennifer Coolidge in this because she's just doing the worst, like, Cockney accent the entire time.
Absolutely terrible.
But she also, like, changes, like, her R's for W's, so it's, like, baby talk, but also, like, British.
It's like a British baby pirate.
Like, she'll be like, stupid Americans, and I'm like, what the fuck is this supposed to be? But they have a dinner, and we find out throughout the dinner that, Jane Seymour's character she basically calls out Jane and says that she's done a lot of research on her guests, which is weird.
This is exactly where I wrote down the entire rest of the movie. I knew this entire movie, and when I got to the end, I was like, "Yeah, this is beat for beat."
I do know that you called it like halfway through.
Like she wouldn't treat
I'm an
her
idiot
like
because
crap.
I didn't know what was happening.
She wouldn't treat her like shit and do that much research. So she
was still shitty to her the entire time.
Yeah, she's the one that was pushing her toward the guy that she had set up for her.
Oh.
Yes, it was all an act.
All right, well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves here.
No, wait, man, I'm really smart. I figured out this terrible movie from 2013.
I know, and I'm really stupid because I didn't. She tells everyone that she's researched Jane, and that Jane is very unlucky in love, and they kind of look at her like, well, you're in your 30s and you're single, it must be awful, which, spoiler alert, it's fucking not. It's great. Most of the time. Sometimes it's not, but a lot of times it's good.
No comment. One thing also I felt like a genius recognizing during this dinner scene is, did you catch how many fucking Jell-O molds are on the table?
No.
There are no less than 7. In the Jell-O molds, we have cranberries in one. We have an entire loaf of bread in another. We have a fish sticking out of a Jell-O mold. I don't know. Somebody thought they were real clever that day when they were setting the table.
There's always room for Jell-O, CJ. So we get this dinner scene, and then everybody's kind of like taken to their rooms. We find out that Jane gets the copper package, so she gets a not very nice room, but it actually didn't look that bad.
Yeah, it's period specific.
Yeah. We also found out in Jane Seymour's little pre-introduction speech that no technology that wouldn't belong in the time period is allowed. Although we see that Jennifer Coolidge's room has a giant flat-screen plasma TV, which I thought was odd. But she's in the platinum package room. Much nicer accommodations. They also give them their clothing. Jane is basically dressed like a servant almost, where Jennifer Coolidge and the other characters get very nice gowns, things of that nature. The next day, they're going to go for a walk through the garden, and everybody is kind of giving Jane, not a hard time, but they're kind of saying, because there are only 3 women and only 2 men, so she's kind of the oddball out. You know, the captain has linked up with Jennifer Coolidge's character, the Mr. Darcy type. He's with the uppity rich girl, Amelia. So this kind of bothers Jane, so she kind of walks off on her own, finds the stable, and is just going to like sit down in some hay for a while, be kind of bummed out. And Brett Martin, the chauffeur, pops out of a hay bale, basically.
Yeah, he just kind of lurks.
Yeah. And, he starts talking to her, and there's obviously a flirtatious relationship going on there. And Nobly and the captain wander by. I guess they're trying to find her because she's wandered off from the group. And she's not supposed to be talking to the servant. You know, this guy, he's not part of the act. He's like the chauffeur, the groundskeeper.
And he's often out of character.
Yeah.
Whenever she runs in there. Like, he just talks about normal everyday thing. He's not.
And he brings up how stupid the whole idea is and how he's not really into dressing up in the period act, stuff. And he's got other interests and things that he's interested in. At this point, though, Jennifer Coolidge rides up on a horse and tells everyone we're going hunting with real guns. And they're about to go skeet shoot. So we get a little scene where everybody's kind of getting ready to shoot. Martin is there with everyone. And he's kind of showing Jane how to hold the rifle. It's, one of those like sexy moments where he's like behind her holding the gun, showing her how to hold it.
Yeah.
And Jane's a fucking sniper.
She turns into Annie fucking Oakley.
Dude, they start launching these like fake pigeons in the air, and she is blasting them to the point where she's like letting off like a few rounds and then handing off that rifle when he's passing her another one, and she's just hitting every shot.
Yeah, without any problem.
Yeah, so everybody's kind of impressed, where everybody else is having like serious problems.
They don't reference why she's so good with a gun.
No, it just happened. From there we get like another. They go back to the house, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't remember some of this movie, but she wanders off again. She basically gets to kind of like upset by them again, and she's kind of is the odd one out because there's only so many guys to go around. Yeah,
they're kind of dogging on her because she's sitting there in the parlor. They're all sitting in the parlor because I think back in the day that's what you did, was just sit around and BS about poor people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she's drawing people in the room, and they're making fun of her for drawing.
Yeah.
And, it's very unladylike.
Yeah, for having a talent. She's actually a pretty good artist.
Yeah, I mean, but back in the day, if you knew how to draw and you were a woman, fucking witch, right?
Yeah, exactly. So she wanders off again, and she kind of wanders off, and she hears the sweet, sweet sounds of a saxophone coming from a hut somewhere. So she goes and peeks in, and it's Martin, the chauffeur, and he's in there listening to the radio and playing the saxophone. And they have a nice little moment where they do kiss at this point, I think. And this is kind of where their relationship kind of takes off to another level. The next day, she leaves. The girls are all sitting in the parlor again, like knitting, and she wants to go out and get away. And her and Brett share like a whole day together. Like they're in a boat. At one point, he's playing a pan flute.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an interesting choice. This guy's like the master of the woodwinds.
And one of the weird things is, so he plays the saxophone, he plays the pan flute, and he sings.
Yeah.
He's terrible at all 3.
Yeah, he is really bad. Yeah.
But
actually, he's a great musician in real life. Well, a good singer, and I believe he plays a few musical instruments.
But everybody kind of acts like he's really good at all these things.
She does. Nobody else knows that he does them because he has to keep them all hidden because they're not things that they would have during this time period. But
it's very odd.
She's just very supportive. She's a sweet gal. She's letting him think that he's good at all the stuff that he's doing. They do this, and then at the very end of the evening, he gives birth to a baby horse. So they're in like his shack.
Well, he doesn't, because that would hurt. He helps.
You're right.
He helps birth a baby horse.
That's true. It would be a whole different movie if he just gave birth to a horse all of a sudden. But yeah, they're in the bar, and he takes her. They're in his little shed, and he tells her, "Oh my goodness, I forgot." And there's a horse making a bunch of noise. And they go into the barn, and the horse is going into labor. He sends her off to get some hay. By the time she comes back, there's a baby horse on the ground. This baby horse is actually like a full-size donkey covered in some goo.
Yes,
and which I thought was weird, but I was like, I mean,
nope. I already wrote that down.
I was like, this movie doesn't make any sense anyway, and like they probably didn't have the effects for like a horse that actually looked like a baby, so I just wrote it off as this was their way of like showing a baby horse, even though it's not a baby horse. The next day, we're at the house again, and we're introduced to a new man, Captain East.
Boy, comes in with that Ben Affleck energy.
He really does. He comes in, guy's got like a Jamaican accent, but he's saying he's British. I was real confused.
He's basically, because like we said, don't watch this movie. Look up the Old Spice commercials.
He is. He's the Old Spice guy. 100%.
Oh, wait, is he the same guy?
No, he's not the actor.
Oh, okay.
No, but I see what you're saying. He is that sort of energy.
Yeah, just like a tall, handsome black guy that can move his pecs independently.
Yeah.
And just knows how to move that voice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's doing his thing. So, we meet him, and so this kind of throws a new dynamic into things, because now there are 3 men and 3 women. The excuse is... in reality, this guy's also a soap opera star, and he was finishing filming a season of his TV show.
Which is shown at one point when they're in Jennifer Coolidge's room.
Yeah.
And he's on the TV behind them.
Yes. But that's the kind of how they write him out for a little while, and then he shows up because he was, in the East Indies. He's a pirate of sorts.
I have it here. George East from the West Indies is his name.
Oh, is that it?
Yes.
How clever. But yeah, so we get a scene with him, and then the next day they're all out like in the garden or whatever, and he's kind of putting the moves on Jane. Guy's all business. He just kind of walks up, grabs her arm, starts kissing her up and down the arm, giving her the smooth moves. At this point, Martin is walking by. He's out in the background doing his groundskeeper stuff. He's got a wheelbarrow. This guy's always moving mulch or something. The entire movie. Every time you see
he'll
him,
have a wheelbarrow full of, there are many, many, many stuffed dead animals. And he'll just be walking around with a wheelbarrow full of stuffed animals, like shoving them into the garden and stuff, like dead peacocks and chickens and
is that. But he sees this going on, and he takes offense by it because he thinks that they're an item, and he kind of confronts her about it, and he gets pretty shitty about it. He kind of turns into a whiny man baby.
And this is also where the other fella, the guy playing Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
He also starts to show some weird sly, like, grumblings whenever anybody's flirting with her.
Yeah, and you know what else I forgot to mention was after the shooting event, when they were hunting or whatever they were doing, shooting the skeet, on the way back, it starts to rain, and Martin leaves to get her a horse, and leaves her out in the middle of the woods in the rain, and Mr. Nobley rides up on a horse, and kind of white and shining armors her, and gets her up on the horse and takes her back.
White and shining armors?
What, the knight in shining armor?
Yes, that's the word.
Oh, it wasn't white in shining armor. But he takes her back, and that's kind of the first time you see him maybe break character a little bit too, where he's not really acting. He really is kind of invested, or taking a notice of her and wants to like help her out because he's interested. So Brett's upset about all that stuff, and I don't want to say it's the end of their relationship, but at that point she's kind of like, well, I didn't know we were dating, and I should be allowed to do what I want, and he gets all uppity about it and does his thing. We get a scene in the parlor where they're all Amelia's playing piano and singing terribly, and this is when when she's done, they ask Jane to play, and Jane says, well, he doesn't want to play, but she's like, I only know one song really. And she gets up to the piano and sits down, and she plays Hot in Her by Nelly on the piano.
Another extremely out of character thing, but kind of funny.
Which I gotta wonder, there's actually like some pretty big songs in this.
I think this movie was supposed to be better than it was.
Maybe, but I just wonder
they put some money into it.
I wonder what the music budget was on this. I didn't look any of the financials up. I didn't care enough about this movie to do any research. I'm going to be honest.
I did a little bit of looking.
Okay.
It was, they didn't put a lot of effort into this one.
Right. So she starts to play. So I actually kind of dug this scene just because Mr. Nobley is like off behind the piano, and he's like always like the stuffy curmudgeon guy. But as soon as she starts playing the song, you see his head kind of start going and nodding and bobbing, like he's kind of digging it.
This is some of the stuff I did a little bit of research on. So he's playing the Mr. Darcy type.
Yeah.
I guess
He's a white and shining armor. Is what he is.
I guess in Pride and Prejudice, Mr. Darcy is sort of like the same thing, a pompous asshole. But the whole time in the background, you can see him doing like noble things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to get the girl, but to just be a good guy.
Yeah.
So often in this movie, you'll see him in the background doing something that's in her best interest.
Okay.
Such as, I don't know if it's happened yet, the cell phone.
No, but we're gonna get that here like pretty soon. So after she starts playing Hot in Her in the piano, Jane Seymour's character freaks out because this is a modern song and that's not allowed. So she gets up and kind of chastises her. Jane gets up and decides to leave, and she's actually going out to find Martin because even though like they got in their little spat, she's still interested and she wants to go see him. Nobly stops her outside and tells her she shouldn't be cavorting with the servants, kind of steers her away from doing that. She goes back into the house. Mr. Wattlesbrook, who is Jane Seymour's husband, tries to sexually assault Jane. He gets real grabby with her and like tells her that he's going to do some things to her. And Jane fights him off and knocks him down. At this point, the Colonel and Nobly come in and kind of save her. But unfortunately, this wasn't cool. The Colonel picks up Mr. Wattlesbrook and starts taking him upstairs to put him to bed. It kind of makes reference to like, this happens all the time. With
like he's just an alcoholic rapist that hangs out?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, which is probably period specific.
Well, yeah.
I have to assume. It's all part of the experience, EJ. You pay for the copper package, you get the copper get the copper package. So that whole awful scene happens. And then this is where Jane decides that like she's going to take charge of her own story. So she gets with Miss Charming, and they steal some clothes from Amelia, and she's just decided that she's going to like, this is her experience. Like she doesn't have to play by the script, and like she can be who she wants to be. She's going to get herself a Mr. Darcy one way or the other, whoever it is.
Yeah.
So we have a period piece glow up where she gets nicer gowns, her hair's better. And then we get like a weird montage to Betty Davis Eyes where she walks into the room all done up. She's walking by like a poker game between all the guys, and she's touching all their faces. And,
she comes in with that Ben Affleck energy.
Yeah. She's got that big Affleck energy, and she walks through and she's doing her thing. Cut to a scene outside where now all the guys are into Jane. She's paying for the copper package. She was supposed to have one guy. Even
the Colonel, who's being played by a gay man.
Yeah.
is like intrigued.
Yeah, everyone is kind of surrounding her, talking to her. At this point, Mrs. Wattlebrook rolls up and says that, they were searching her room, which is not fucking cool, Mrs. Wattlebrook.
Yeah.
Like, if you're at a hotel stay, no one's going through your room and searching your belongings. But they found her cell phone, and this is a big no-no, and she's going to get kicked out. They bring the cart. Martin shows up with a cart full of hay, and they're going to fucking ride her out of town on a cart full of hay. But Amelia comes forward and says, "Oh, no, that was my cell phone. I didn't realize I had it. And she said she'd watch it for me and keep it safe."
If you go back to Mr. Nobly, you can actually see him in the background before that telling her to go up there and say it's her phone.
Oh.
Yeah, like he's doing these sort of background things.
Yeah, I did not pay enough attention. This movie didn't warrant me to pay enough attention.
I don't know why I did, but...
But because Amelia is a platinum member and, she's already stated that she comes here every year, so she's like a big money customer. Jane Seymour was fully ready to kick out Jane, but it's fine because it was Amelia's phone. Everything's fine. We find out from Amelia, though, afterwards that she wants to blackmail Jane. She wants Jane to make sure that her and Mr. East get time together because she sees that Mr. East is interested in Jane. Everybody's interested in Jane. So she needs her to make sure that those two get to be together, or else she's going to tell everybody that was her cell phone. From there, Jane Seymour comes out and says that she's written a play. And there's a play that they're all going to perform.
Yes.
This movie is also very just like rushed. Like every scene doesn't have time to breathe or do anything until they're onto some other ridiculous bullshit happening.
It's basically like a little bit of exposition, 3 or 4 insane lines from Jennifer Coolidge. And then a little bit more exposition next scene.
Yeah.
And we've skipped over some of the best ones here. There's a point when she's trying to leave. She decides she's going to quit.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Coolidge comes in to ask her not to. She goes, like, don't make any brash movements. She goes, think about all the people that hang themselves. The next day, they feel different about it. But there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, she does.
Like, these are all just lines she made up on the spot. She's amazing.
There was also a scene, which might have been around this part, where they ask her how she stays looking so young. And she says she sticks her face in the fire. Yes. That's how she says she stays young. And everyone just looks at her like horrified. And she just like moves on to the next thing.
Yep.
So they're going to be a play. There's going to be 3 romantic couples in the lead. There's 3 men, 3 women. They have to pick their partners. They let Jane pick first. Well, actually, the Colonel and Jennifer Coolidge's character have been linked up since the very beginning. So they're the first couple. They give Jane the option to pick hers. She picks Mr. Nobley so that Amelia and Mr. East can be together. This is kind of where we start to see more of a connection with Jane and Mr. Nobley. Practicing for the play. They're talking to each other about like real life stuff, like emotions, feelings. They're really connecting.
Yeah.
As much as you can connect in a movie like this, where there's no chemistry between anyone and everything seems forced. But you get the impression that they're interested in each other now. Play happens, everything goes really well. At the end, he has to tell her he loves her in the play, and when he says it, he means it. Like, you get the impression, like, there's meaning behind him saying, I love you. And then he walks her back to her little hut, or well, not a hut, she has a room, but she has a copper level room. It's not a nice room.
Yes.
Takes her back to her room, and
if it was the Titanic, it was the room they put the Irish people in.
Exactly. There's a ball the next night. It's like the final night of the stay. It's when everything comes together. It's when your romantic crush like confesses their love for you. This is like the end game when you stay at Austenland. They go, and he asks if he can reserve a few dances with her at the ball. We go to the ball. Martin is there, but she kind of brushes Martin off because she's with Mr. Nobley. And she's fully invested in Mr. Nobley now. They have their dances, and then he pulls her aside and confesses his love to her. And this is where she kind of has a moment where she says, well, this isn't real. Like, you're an actor.
Yeah, she shuts him down.
Shuts him down because she wants something real, and then goes off to be with Martin. And Martin takes her away. She says that she wants to stay for a few extra days in London so they can be together outside of the resort. Everything's all dandy. The next day, everybody's packing up. We're leaving. They get in the wagon. It's just Amelia and Jane. And Amelia tells her that Mr. Nobley was the one. You know, she asked, did you end up with Mr. Nobley? And she says, well, not exactly. And she says, oh, he seemed to like you because he's the one that told me to take the fall for your cell phone because he wanted me to stay. So we get our first this is the first time it kind of dawns on us that Mr. Nobley wasn't acting the whole time. This man's
a little more than he let on.
So she gets that little bit of information from Amelia. And then they have like a weird, like if you went to a resort and stayed, you wouldn't have like an exit interview after the resort stay was over.
I thought it was a little odd. But it was basically like, yeah, here's the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain moment.
Yeah, it was almost like Jane Seymour was like explaining to her how amazing she was. So she sits down with Jane Seymour, and Jane Seymour tells her that Martin is an actor. And he's been an actor the entire time. This is what CJ caught on to in the first 15 minutes of the movie. I didn't know until this very moment, and my jaw was on the floor, CJ. I was shocked.
Were you really?
No, I kind of figured it out a little bit further in, but I didn't know it when you knew it.
Yeah, no, it made sense. As soon as she said at the dinner, like, I know a lot about you.
Yeah.
She's not putting that much effort in on somebody that she hates. And she's treating her like crap in order to...
But she still was treating her like crap after it was all over.
Yeah, I mean, that was all part of it. Because that was how she figured out Jane would have the best time.
Yeah.
Is if she got pushed to this one guy, and this one guy saved her with his charm, and not like white and shining armor.
So she finds out that Martin was an actor the entire time, and she is really upset because she's actually fallen for this guy, and it's been a trick the whole time. She threatens to sue Jane Seymour's character and brings up the fact that her creepy, lecherous husband tried to assault her, and also alluded to the fact that this probably wasn't the first time.
And this was the only part in which I was like, yeah, Jane Seymour might be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because she's like letting her husband skate on this
stuff.
She
is a bad guy. She's bad the entire movie.
I don't know.
But so, Jane...
You know what? I don't care that much to argue about it, honestly, on this movie.
You're right. Jane storms out and goes to the airport. She's getting ready to fly back to America.
How'd you feel about this airport scene, buddy?
Actually, I'll get to it. Jane Seymour calls Martin on the telephone and tells him that he needs to go and smooth things out. Well, Martin is hanging out poolside with all the other actors because they have like this weird pool in the resort where all the actors get together in their off time.
Yeah.
Which is always kind of funny because it'll be like a guy in a powdered wig, but also like Bermuda shorts, like sitting by the pool. And so Nobley's there, and so's Brett. And Brett was kind of bragging about like his conquest with Jane, and Nobley got upset about it. But he gets the phone call that he needs to go to the airport. So he shows up, tries to tell her, hey, my feelings for you were real. Like, I know, like I was paid to be part of your experience. And she's not buying it because he's clearly full of shit. And then Nobley shows up, and he confesses his love to her and explains to her, like, I'm not even really an actor. Like, this was my first week here. Like, I gave you my real name. Like, I don't have a fake name. My name's actually fucking Henry Nobley.
Yeah.
Everything that I've said's been real so far. I didn't want to be here. That's why I was miserable when you first showed up. Like, I'm just doing this because I don't have any other options. I'm not an actor. But she's not buying it for either of them. And she gets in the plane.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's real.
Yeah, doesn't know what's real. You get, like, this is a great rom-com trope, the rush to the airport. This wasn't quite the same as that. But I got to tell you, I actually enjoyed this scene the most out of all of the whole movie. As for a movie as awful as it is, there was a great line where Nobley's kind of talking down to Martin, and he's like, "You're such a bad actor. Like, you're just upset because when an actor left, like my aunt hired me. I'm not an actor. Hired me instead of moving you up from the farmhouse." Like into the real house. And he says what? Couldn't get that part in Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? Because fucking Brett McKenzie is fucking a Kiwi. He's like he's from New Zealand. I thought it was a great line. And then they start to have a little scuffle.
I did notice during the airport scene, a lot of the people in the background were actually in the background of the dance as well.
Oh, like they didn't hire
and
her.
I think they were like hired in because they make a point about like hiring in people from outside to be at the dance to fill it up.
Yeah.
And I think there were just people that were traveling there to go do it.
Just went to the dance and then they were leaving. But Jane flies back to America. We see her de-Austening her apartment. She's lived up to her end of the bargain of the bet. She didn't find love. It wasn't a happy ending, so she's going to get rid of everything. She gets a knock at the door, and she assumes it's her friend. Invites her in. Who is it? It's Mr. Nobley. He's flown across the Atlantic, CJ.
To give her a drawing
just
book
to give her sketchbook back because she forgot it. And, he kind of tells her, I really do care. This was all real to me. And they kiss, roll credits.
No.
Well, we get the title card. We get Austenland.
Yes.
And then we get another scene where we find out that Jennifer Coolidge's character has bought Austenland and turned it into an amusement park.
Like a trashy, cheesy amusement park. She Americanized the shit out of it.
There are roller coasters, there are t-shirts, there's cotton candy. We get to see that the Wattlesbrooks now kind of work for her.
Yes.
Mistress Wattlesbrook is like a trash collector. He's picking up garbage all over the park, so he gets his comeuppance. I mean, not really. The guy was sexually assaulting women left and right. Now he's just working the grounds of an amusement park where there's way more people as opposed to when it was just like 3 or 4. And we find out that Brett is just kind of a sleazy dirtbag still that still works there, and no women will give him a time of day. Now we see Nobley and Jane are visiting the park, and they're in love and happy. And then roll credits.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, give us any flowers, CJ?
I do.
Okay.
There was a couple things that I thought were interesting in this, that I thought they were trying to be a little clever, and it did work out. One, did you notice there's all silent servant guys all over the place? They like hold the doors open, they're serving dinner. Did you notice they're all packing like 14 inches in the pants?
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
I don't know what the deal with that is. Like, it is noticeably large penises on all of these men.
It's played for a joke because when they first get up to the house, when they first arrive there and they all get out, these like 14 servant guys line on the one side, then all the maids on the other side, and Jennifer Coolidge kind of looks them all up and down, and they all seriously like huge dicks like showing through their pants.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Coolidge is like, it's my dream. How true. So that was funny for her character. Like I thought that was pretty good. And that pays off in the end too, because like she's at the end of that little scene where they're showing that she owns the park now, she's like sitting on a bench surrounded by these guys, and she's like,
Yes.
everything's happening. It's all come true.
They're like these weirdly hung tall Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
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 Another cool like thing was this came out in 2013.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the White Lotus TV show with Jennifer Coolidge.
I have not.
Exact same character.
I had
Down to a T, the exact same. This is almost like this was a rehearsal for that character. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say is if you want to see this movie, just watch White Lotus instead. You'll get the best parts of it with an actual good show.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So that's my flowers on this one.
All right. I have nothing good to say about this movie or anything interesting to say about this movie, but I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So watching this movie got me thinking, if you could go to your very own Austenland.
I thought about this.
But it's not Jane Austen, obviously, but like what fictional universe would you like to go into, like an all-immersive resort stay and experience?
I kind of think, like, I was honestly thinking, and I'm not a huge fan of these movies, but like a John Wick. Like, where it's just like, you got paintball guns in your pockets at all times, and you never know when shit's about to happen.
Jane would have crushed it there. She's an excellent shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine would be, I would want to do like a Stephen King, like Derry, Maine, like kind of thing, where you go to like the little town of Derry, and it's all like the evil characters that lurk, and it'd be like kind of like a horror, cool. Like an immersive like horror experience, like a week-long haunted house where you're trying to solve like a mystery, but there's
actually
all these,
that'd be great too, because it's another literary thing.
Yeah,
so that would work.
So that's mine.
This movie got me to thinking, and I know, just 2 weeks ago we did Shakespeare in Love, and I talked about the theater way too much. I've created 3 of these before, immersive theater projects.
Yeah.
And I can say, all sincerity, they are real.
Yeah.
So I built the shows, I worked with the cast. When you go to see this, it doesn't matter how well you know the people that are across from you. Some of the cast in some of these shows I'd known for years.
Yeah.
You start to forget about what reality really is. Yeah. If it's done well, it is amazing. And I can point at, did you happen to see the show Mindhunter on Netflix?
Yeah, I love that show.
Okay, so there's a scene where they're interviewing a guy in the prison, and he's petting a bird the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
And he throws the bird into a fan.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's name is Jack Erdy. He's a Pittsburgh actor.
Okay.
He's amazing. Really, really good guy. It was one of these immersive theater things. I see him in the immersive theater show. He's playing basically the devil.
Yeah.
And he scared the living fuck out of me.
Really?
And I knew this guy. I knew him first name basis. Ate lunch with him that day. And I almost pissed my pants at how good he was at scaring the shit out of me. Because that's how good these kind of things are. It's really cool. And I would love to do, maybe not a Jane Austen one, but something where you're immersed for an entire week.
You know what that is, CJ? Acting. Very nice. All right. Yeah, so that's it for me then. So I guess we should slap a dick on this chick flick?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I really like the Westworld thing. But the one I came up with was, have you ever seen the TV show The Americans?
No, I never have.
It's another one with Carrie Russell, where she's basically a Russian spy. And I thought of this during the scene where she's just goes full Annie Oakley and starts shooting the shit out of everything. What if she was her character from The Americans?
Oh, okay.
This was actually a mission. This is like one of those goofy episodes like on the X-Files, the throwaway episodes where she finds out that the target she has to assassinate is playing Mr. Darcy at Austenland, and she has to go there and murder him.
Well, that's fun.
So it ends with her like violently murdering a guy and shoving him in a
Jell-O mold.
Yes.
Sticks him in a Jell-O mold.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So mine is pretty much going to be the exact same cast, but I'm going to change out one person. So at the beginning of this movie, before we even meet Jane's character, we get like this little vignette. It's kind of like a TV commercial for Austenland, where Jane Seymour is just sitting in a chair, like with a fake goat in her lap, like talking about the experience. In my movie, it starts out, instead of Jane Seymour, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. And he's like, have you ever wanted to get hit in the face with a steel chair? You ever want to get thrown off the top of a Hell in a Cell through an announcer's table? You ever want to win a world title in front of millions of screaming fans? Give me a hell yeah. Come on down to Stone Cold Steve Austenland. Austenland.
Can I change the answer to the question you asked earlier?
I
want to go to Austenland.
So this whole thing is just an immersive Attitude Era WWE experience. But so instead of being infatuated with Mr. Darcy, Jane is infatuated with the WWE. So everybody rolls into this thing with like a bald cap and like jorts and like a leather vest, and they're all dressed like Stone Cold. And then all the actors are dressed as like The Rock and like Mankind, The Undertaker. And it's just basically just like a wrestling camp.
Some of those guys you could actually probably get nowadays.
Yeah, I think so. So it's just not The Rock. God, no.
No, not The Rock. But this might be my favorite chick flick to a dick flick we've ever done.
So,
all I can think about is how awesome this is.
So it's just essentially the same thing, but it's just Jane like trying to become like live her like pro wrestling dreams. And instead of like winning the love of Mr. Darcy, she wins like the heavyweight world championship at WrestleMania at the end of this thing.
You're a genius.
Yeah. So yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You've won my love.
Thank you. Thank you. That's mine. All right. Let's Nick Cage it.
I didn't want to put him in this movie. He doesn't deserve that. The one place I want to put him is the cardboard cutout of Mr. Darcy, of Colin Firth. I would like him to be that.
Okay.
Where she's like, they're like, you pray to this cardboard cutout, and every time it shows him, though, he's got a little bit of a different facial expression, even though it's a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
Maybe when she's going to throw him away at the end, he's got like that shocked beam face. So that's where I'd put him in this one.
Okay. All right. I had to connect him to Jennifer Coolidge because it's the only redeeming thing about this movie. So Jennifer Coolidge famously...
Not a 14-inch python?
No. Jennifer Coolidge famously Stifler's mom from American Pie. Stifler, played by Sean William Scott, is in a movie called The Rundown with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Also stars Christopher Walken as the bad guy in that movie. Christopher Walken is in True Romance.
Ooh, he's the original Nick Cage.
He really is. He's in True Romance with Christian Slater, who is also in Wind Talkers with Nicolas Cage.
Ooh, first time you've used Wind Talkers.
I know. I was excited when I found the new one.
Classic movie.
Yeah, it's a great one. So is True Romance. That's one of my favorite all-time movies. So
yeah.
I was excited to put both of those in there. All right, let's rate it.
Ugh. 1?
1?
Yeah, I'm going to go 1. And that's basically Jennifer Coolidge. This movie, it didn't really have anything redeeming other than her. The music wasn't great. The acting wasn't good. Yeah, just for her and her goofy-ass lines. But honestly... Go watch White Lotus. You have a better time.
0.5.
0.5.
I hated this movie.
Wow,
this movie was... I watched it twice, CJ. I gotta stop doing this. Like, I tried to watch this movie with you, and I was like... I'll be honest. We had a few pops at the Memorial Day picnic. I was a little sleepy. I was a little drunk. And I couldn't focus. I knew I didn't like it then. But for the pod, I watched it a second time just so I could make sure I saw everything.
It's not necessary.
It's not. This movie is just it's piss poor. Jennifer Coolidge is great, but even she can't save this movie. I love Brett McKenzie. Can't save this movie. The acting was bad. There was no chemistry between any of the leads. It felt thrown together. I implore you, do not watch this movie.
Every character, look up a list of the cast, and you'll find a bunch of better movies that all of them are in.
Yeah, it's just, God, 0.5. This is by far my least favorite movie we've watched so far.
No shit.
Yeah, like I would
even
never.
Worse than Step Up.
Yeah, even way worse than Step Up.
Wow.
Way worse.
I feel like we found it. The bottom of the barrel.
Like, I will watch Step Up again if given the choice between this movie and Step Up 100%. Every day, all day. There's nothing redeeming about this movie that makes me want to see it again. 0.5.
All right.
Final answer. All right.
Let's find something better. Hey, we can only go up from here, right?
You're right. We're at 205 on the list, CJ. Give me a number between 1 and 205. And let's get the taste of Austenland out of our mouth.
We are number 79.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. Step Up 2.
Yes!
What are the odds?
When you invoke it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
Hey, I've heard this one's better. People have said, hey, you guys were harsh on Step Up. Step Up 2's better.
Well, we're gonna find out.
Is
our
this-
first sequel?
All
Oh,
right.
goddamn. Well, everybody. Until next time when we review Step Up 2, taking it to the streets, I believe. I don't have that in my notes here, but
I think it's just Step Up to the streets.
Is it? I
Yeah.
hope they're taking it to the streets.
I think taking it to the streets was like a Rolling
That's what I do with
Stones
garbage.
thing.
I take it to the street and I
Yes.
sit it by the curb, and that's probably what this movie is going to be like. All right, well, until next time, everybody, as I always say, please follow us, subscribe to us on all the apps where you get your podcasts at. We're on all of them. Send us an email. We've already gotten a few. We're very excited. you've.gotmails@yahoo. And until next time, stay romantic and don't be shooting each other. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold Steve Austenland said so.
Nice. I'm going to immerse myself in a bottle of fucking bourbon.
Jesus.